So today we'll discuss about the strategy about how to write good essay, especially for 2023 mains. Although there are so many strategies and so many approaches, in that we'll also like to add one more approach on our side, and we have been constantly guiding students every year, and every year students have also been securing from our institute among highest marks in essay also. So essay, when we talk about, so basically people should know some basics of essay. Many a time we try to write essay without knowing what exactly the essay can have its fundamentals. The term essay itself, if you see, so it means a long piece of writing, which if you see its meaning, so it is analytical composition, interpretative composition. So if you take any dictionary, search essay meaning, so you'll find this, it analytical. So it is analytical composition. And if you see UPSC, that what UPSC is demanding in that essay, because essay is written at every stage, at the schooling stage also, higher studies also, in competition also, other competitions. But uh, writing essay in UPSC is certainly different from any other such competition. And that's why we have to understand the distinction. First, second, that we have to know some basics. We generally say as fundamentals of essay. फिर से रिकॉर्ड करेंगे, ठीक है, हटा दीजिए. Hello everyone. So hope you are doing good. Today we will talk about strategies how to write good essay. Although lots of strategies and today you know that there can be so many toppers also strategy about how to write essay, and some people also share every year when they secure highest marks. So how they wrote essay in UPSC, and then we try to link somehow that this is how when we write, so it results into securing high marks. But before, let's say that copying those things, you should also understand that there are some basic fundamentals which you should know. When we try to copy something from somewhere, any such strategy, so it can be, let's say, coming at a very higher level, not at basic level. Many a time we find that students lack some basics, and those basics neither they have tried to know, nor have they been told that this is the problem in your essay. So, based on our experience of, let's say, past years, we have seen that how students do mistakes, and many a time their essay is just a shallow way of writing and linking one after another with different themes. At that level, it happens that the main theme is somehow missed, and generally, let's say, पता नहीं. Hello everyone. So today we'll talk about essay strategy, how to write good essay. Although we know that people tell different types of strategies, and you may have also your own strategy, you may have tried. So in that we will try to bring our strategy and explain that how you can write good essay. There are some fundamentals, and we hope that once you know such fundamentals, it may be able to help you in clearing some of your problems and improving your essay writing skills. You should know that generally it happens any answer writing, so it has its own basic standards, and which we say it as basic fundamentals. Essay, if you talk the term essay, so it means a long piece of writing. When anything that is a long piece of writing, which is less than, shorter than the thesis that you write, research papers that you write, it is shorter than that, but bigger than the short answers that you write in the GS papers. So when there is a long piece of writing, so then it has its own nuances, it has its own demands. And especially when UPSC has shifted from informative type of essays to more philosophical type of essays. So how one should approach, what one should take care, how one should understand the meaning of the essay, so that we will try to highlight. At the same time, we'll tell you also that what exactly UPSC demands. Have we ever tried to know that in UPSC notification, when it gives its notice about civil service examination, so what exactly it mentions there, that what it demands from the candidates, those who are going to write essay. So those things we'll try to highlight here, and this you can see that we have written that what we are going to focus. We will basically focus on 7 things, 7 such essential components. One is that the simple meaning of the essay, that what exactly let's essay means, and then let's key types of essays, some other basics, then structuring, how essay can be structured, ideally how it can be structured, you can say. Then we'll try to help that how you should understand essay if a particular topic is given. So what are those techniques that we can apply so that we can understand essay, and so that we do not miss the certain aspects of essay. Then we can tell that the basically new candidates, those who are going to write first time, means, and they may not have experience of writing essay, and those candidates who have already appeared and they have been writing essay but they are not able to secure good marks. So how, let's say, that they can improve, what they may have, let's say, that problems in their essay. And then let's say that we'll try to address that UPSC demands, that what exactly let's say demands in a particular essay, and then that how you can write a good essay after considering all these factors. So let's take one by one. When we take that what is essay, so if you read any such dictionary, if you try to search any dictionary, basically they will write one common thing. It can be in a, let's say, Britannica, Merriam-Webster, any such dictionary. If you see general meaning also, if you say it is analytical. It is considered analytical composition. Yes. So essay is an analytical piece of, let's say, that we will say in general language, it is an analytical piece of article. This, and generally essay can be, let's say, as per the PSC length, if you say it demands, let's say, 1000 words. So from, you can say that other papers in GS will say when you are writing 250 words. So 250 words, it can be a long piece of. So from this comparison, it can be considered as this analytical piece of article, which can be considered long. This, so when it says analytical, so that way you should understand that we have to write essay which is analytical. Then towards, let's say, end, we will talk that we will try to link with UPSC, that what exactly UPSC is demanding in this analytical essay. Before that, let's types, if you see. So there can be various types. we are not here to teach you essay technicalities, but just for UPSC standard, you can say. So there used to be a time when we had informative essay. Informative, we can consider that non-philosophical type, all those essays which are non-philosophical. And now let's say that philosophical. This has become trend in last 3-4 years, if you find. So last 3-4 years, you will find that this is how it has become a trend. This, let's say that once it can be asked as cooperative federalism. This, or it can be, let's say, social media related. This, but here you can say nowadays it can be wisdom related. It can be character related. This. So when it is related to wisdom, it is related to character. So basically, philosophical is nothing but it demands certain rational. It is demanding certain rational analysis, which we say as philosophical analysis. This, it demands certain rational analysis where we will have less information. It demands, let's say, less information, facts, but it demands, let's say, certain, basically a bit higher level of information and fact. This. So, strategy to write essay which is informative is different. Strategy to write philosophical is different. This, many a time, let's say that it may not be pure philosophical, mixed type. Essay can be, let's say that third category is mixed type, which is, let's say, when they say that this engendering, let's say that. So when development is not engendered, it endangers. That kind of essay, if you see. So essay which it is framed in a any such quotation is given. Any, let's say that code. So code based essay you will find. So if it is a, let's say, code based essay, it can be demand a bit of information plus analysis, means higher level of analysis, which will have some philosophical type of, let's say, rhetorical, philosophical, moral, that kind of, let's say, they will have more, let's say, moral or rational inclination. This it depends, it's knowledge, let's say that it will be more of knowledge based. This knowledge in the sense that cooperative federalism, so when once it was asked, social media is inherently selfish, it was also asked. Now you have to know about social media. There is nothing philosophical in that. It is rather social media is inherently selfish. Or once they asked that future of the country is written in classroom. So these things, let's say, demand some information, knowledge, and without that you will not be able to attempt this. So do we have knowledge about social media, and can we link that how it is selfish? Do we have knowledge about cooperative federalism? Can we write an essay on that, this a long piece? So it demands some information, and basically on the basis of good information, let's say, you will be able to elaborate it one after another. This, so that way we can consider. But when we talk on philosophical type, which has become general characteristics of essays nowadays, so wisdom, let's say, character, you can say. So are you aware about what is character? Are you aware about wisdom? Can you argue it, explain it in, let's say, 1000 words or 800 words? This, so it demands more like philosophical type of. It's generating, let's say, it's about thought generation. It's about going into human personality, human behavior, linking with human behavior. And let's say that this philosophical essay, etc., it will be more individual specific. It will be more individual driven, because it is character if you talk, wisdom if you talk. So character, when we say individual, so character or conduct if you say, so it is related to individual, this individual. Hence, essay style will be different. Style is that you have to focus on individual and you have to build on by giving examples, linking with society, and this way. That is how individual should be the focus. But here when we say social media, if you take cooperative federalism, you take, or any other such type of topics if you take, so it is not individual centric. It is something outside individual. So here let's say that it can be state, it can be in general people, it can be social media as a platform. So that we can say, so here the way you link, go on linking with different themes. So link with different themes will be different. Generally, traditionally, you know that the link used to be social, political, economic, even geopolitical, national, international. That used to be, let's say, approach of theme-wise linking. But here, let's say that the theme will be very less. Here you can link to individual, you can link to some philosophers, you can link to philosophers, you can link to leaders. So it demands a bit of different type of knowledge. Do you have that kind of knowledge? Have you read philosophy? Since let's say basically now ethics paper has been added. Ethics papers, from there you know a bit of philosophy, then you know about world history. From there you know a bit of philosophy, then a bit of, let's say that key. When you read international, let's say IR, when you read, so you come to know. So in GS itself, you have better understanding that can bring your philosophical knowledge, especially from ethics, IR, world history, etc., some thinkers, leaders, etc. So from there you can learn, and that is how it demands a bit different. So some people can be good at writing such kind of essays. Some people are good in philosophical. Those who are not good nowadays, they have to learn it, and this they can improve also through ethics or their knowledge in GS paper. But that is how we can say when we talk about types, let's say, as far as UPSC is concerned, as of now, not going to the academic technicality of types of essay, which we are not supposed to discuss here. Then thereafter we have to talk after types structuring. When essay is basically a big, let's say that a piece of writing, let's when it is be informative or philosophical, and you know that it is analytical, so how we can go on structuring it. Structuring is, so when we talk structuring, we basically we have to follow a certain standard. So we also follow a certain standard. We have been following this structuring for, let's say that, means since 2013 itself, and it depends on whatever our understanding about UPSC and also some, let's say, in examiners, etc., interaction with them. So we come to know, let's say that how it can be, let's say, a structure, a proper structure, which is supposed to be followed by UPSC. So if you take that way, so basically any, let's say, uh, general introduction and very macro level is, it is intro, then it is body, and it is conclusion. The way it is written in any such, let's say that answer. But since it is a long piece of writing, so basically when we write an intro, this the intro we write, then we go by interpretation, or let's go by this. We can say it is intro. Then after intro, let's say we go by interpretation. interpretation, then you go by elaboration, and then we go by way forward, and then conclusion. Now, basically, let's say introduction. So, since you have to write 1000 words, we have to write essay of around 1000 words. In 1000, how much we should write, let's say this. So, intro can be depending, let's say you can go by 50 words to, let's say that go over 80 words or 100 words you can go on this. Same thing if you take around this way forward conclusions, it can be also, let's say way forward conclusion can be this around 150 words you can see this. Interpretation can be, let's say again 50, 80, let's say that 50 to 80. It means biggest chunk if you see like this. If you go by this, it becomes 160 words. And if you go by this, it becomes this. Basically, if you combine, so you'll find that it is becoming 310 words. It means ki still, let's say elaboration you are writing around 500 words to, let's consider almost 700 words. This there cannot be, let's say watertight separation. We may not have this watertight separation of wording. It depends, let's say how you write. Even let's say range can be like this, but we cannot have that way, let's say exact. But yes, bigger part is called elaboration. Now what is the difference? Let's say that when we say introduction, so it is just a short introduction. When you introduce anything, the essay that, so it can be written in this way. Interpretation is basically related to, see, introduction is nothing but essence, we can say that, essence of topic. Like the way we have the preamble. This, the way we have preamble, let's say, similarly we consider it as introduction. Preamble is essence of constitution. Or let's say if you read any newspaper, in newspaper also you'll find that articles, whatever the articles they write, so first two paragraphs generally in, let's say articles, not editorial, the first paragraph can be considered as introduction. And you read, if you care, if you have not cared so far, you care it now, you see it, newspaper, articles, see first two paragraphs, see editorial, first paragraph. So it is basically nothing but trying to give the essence of the article which the person is going to write, or which newspaper is going to write. So this way you can take this introduction, and you can see that that introduction is a very powerful introduction. Means even if they do not write anecdote type of introduction, but still they will be able to write a very powerful introduction. So the question is, on that we will come that what you should write introduction later on. But that is how, when we say what does it mean, it means essence of the essay. By introduction itself, let's say examiner can understand that whether you have understood the topic, theme or not. Now, after that we have to maintain a continuity once we write introduction. Then we start writing interpretation. Interpretation is nothing but it is considered as meaning. Meaning of essay. Now, we don't have to exactly write the meaning, but the way we articulate after writing introduction, when we start the paragraph, we write in such a way that we go on defining it. Like, let's say when we are writing wisdom, the wisdom you can write any, let's say introduction related to wisdom. And then after introduction, when you write this next paragraph, interpretation, so you can go that wisdom is related to human knowledge and understanding. It is considered as a high standard of knowledge in a human that one human may achieve a sort of higher level of knowledge, higher level of learning and enlightenment. So that way we can consider that people have developed their wisdom. So wisdom indicates something higher level of a human mind, human knowledge, or in human personality. This so basically, let's say we are not exactly writing the meaning. When we have to write exact meaning in ethics paper, so we can say that wisdom is nothing but, our wisdom is defined as knowledge plus understanding. So this is how we define the meaning. But here when we go on interpretation, so we write a bit analogical and we elaborate in a paragraph so that we are able to relate the essay topic which you are going to write. It gives a message that you understand the topic. This and hence gap will not be there between introduction and interpretation. Once you have done interpretation of that topic, then let's say that thereafter you go for elaboration. You have to elaborate it. Elaborate means this is called thesis or expansion of the, so it is called expansion. Expansion of essay. So when we go on expansion of essays, so you have to start it. Here, let's say that you can get the opportunity. Basically, you can start from, suppose wisdom we are writing. So we can start wisdom by giving such any example how in our history there are philosophical leaders who attained wisdom and that wisdom resulted into a spread of, let's say that human enlightenment, knowledge. We can start with Buddha and we can link. We can start with Aristotle and we can link. So you have to start with somewhere to build it and further, let's say that we go on building it. So essay has its beginning, let's say. Essay has a beginning, we start with, this is how, so we start with this and gradually we go with a flow and then let's say that we calm down, and then further, let's say it may go. That way we will say this. Means it is the positive side that we are building of the essay. Then you go after writing elaboration side as we have written counter thesis. So you have to see that if a particular topic is given, so whether it has the negative side also or whether it has the positive side also. If topic is positive, it may have the negative side. If it is negative, it may have the positive side. Like social media is inherently selfish when we say. So here you will find that when you have elaborated social media, you write social media represents a set of this blog to Facebook, YouTube, blah blah things, which has become, let's say that contemporary reality are inalienable part and parcel of human life. That people today cannot alienate themselves from social media. In fact, they cannot identify themselves separate from social media. It has become so essential part of life. That is interpretation. Then you can go on talking social media, how social media has expanded from first generation to second generation, and then how it has become part and parcel of life. Then you can mention, let's say, various aspects of social media, presence of people, various types of activities and companies, those things can be, and then how it serves the interest of people. So those things you can consider. Then you have to write how it is selfish, because that is how the theme of the essay. So how it is selfish, the selfishness you have to write. This, so you go into depth of this and talk on the selfishness aspect, how it has become selfish. And once you are done with that selfishness, then you have to, this is how the highest, let's say that point of that essay, you go and proving it. And it is one-sided of the essay. Then you go on, let's say, counter thesis ki it is inherently selfish, or even if it is selfish, but it does have its also, let's see, interest of peace. It does serve the interest of people. It does have also the positive aspects. And that is how the positive side you have to write of social media. So how it gives the positive side. And let's say once you talk this, then you go for way forward. You can go and finally conclude this. So AC does not go with the same uniformity. Let's say people, we find that we have seen that how people write their essay. People write essay with same uniformity, means they maintain for everything uniform. So there is no flow in that essay. There is no flair in that essay. You should know that. It is like waves, let's say the way waves you have. So AC is also like that. That is how it is called flair. So it should not be thus uniform, one after another, one after another. Rather, it should go with such kind of flow. And that is how elaboration part, and that is how the main part of the essay, we can say, of the structure. Always remember that there should be thesis and counter thesis. It's another matter that thesis can have more focus, counter thesis can have less focus. It depends on the nature of the essay, whether it is demanding both equal focus or it is demanding one side more focus, other side less focus. So it depends on that, the particular topic. This is how it is called that whether you understand the topic itself. Essay is not merely that I have adopted this technique, I wrote this, I wrote analogy, so I got the marks. You have to understand the different nuances, different finer aspects of that essay, and that is how it is called elaboration part and the structure aspect. Once we are done with counter thesis, then there is a transition phase. Way forward is basically a transition phase before conclusion. Otherwise, there can be abrupt conclusion. Like say ki, let's say ki the vehicle or we are driving a train running very fast, and then let's say ki accidentally just skid or suddenly it stops. So there is a jerk. So you should not like that kind of, let's say ki, anything when we say something it has a flow. So you have to see the transition. This way forward is a sort of transition, closing down your essay and then writing a conclusion. Now, in philosophical type of essay, there is no way forward in terms of the way we write way forwards in GS papers. Because way forwards are basically related to the steps that we have to follow. What steps can be taken? What more steps can be taken? But let's say that essay is related to wisdom or character. So how we can write steps to improve wisdom? Which wisdom we have to improve? Which person? So there can be very generic aspect of writing way forward. In general, at general level, the society should have scientific temper, and the society we should inculcate greater rational thinking, cultivation of rational thinking through, let's say that education and let's say debate, discourse, though that overall the consciousness level of people improves. That will be a kind of, let's say that step, let's say way forward, rather than some steps taken, let's say, because philosophical topics may not necessarily have that types of steps. It will be more of a transition, and then we conclude, and conclusion where we can end with any such futuristic aspect view, any such, let's say, quotation, any such, let's say that our own view, you can say very powerful thought. So that way it can be considered. This is how. But yes, when the essay is informative type, like say social media is inherently selfish. So in that case, our future of the country is written in a classroom, that type of, if you see. So then there can be some steps, some concrete steps that how we can enhance the quality of education, or how we can regulate social media so that it serves interest of the people rather than it serves self-interest. So it depends on that. So that is how we can say as far as the structure is concerned of the essay. Now let's say that structure, many times people may think that if we adopt this particular structure or we write as per the structure, so it can become a watertight essay. Yes, we also know that it becomes a watertight essay, but that's why there should be a natural flow. You don't have to write the term introduction, interpretation, elaboration, way forward. You don't have to write anything in that answer. Yes, the last, let's say one paragraph can be our first two paragraph can be considered by examiner कि it has been written conclusion. Before that it can be considered as it is transitional. Before that it can be considered as the main aspect. After introduction, one two paragraphs would be considered as its the basics. So already there is understanding, you don't have to write them. But ultimately, let's say कि if you do not have a particular structure, so when you write 1000 word essay, so you know that कि backbone is very important, you know. Without backbone, we cannot stand properly. But this backbone should not become very, this, let's say, like water type. Means the way, let's say that you'll find कि those people who go gym, so they can have, let's say, very this type of body. So we don't need, let's say, structure does not mean that. We need a more flexible type of the way, let's say, normally we can have. But this backbone is important. Without backbone, we cannot stand. So structure is important. However, your thought should guide structure rather than structure should guide thought, because thought is a dynamic thing. Structure can be a rigid thing. So how you should write this, when one should write what, it depends on that person. This is how. That's why we say there is no watertight rule. And that is how it is called flair of writing. So a person may not necessarily write what is wisdom here. His style of writing, he can write somewhere else. But he will necessarily write an entire essay somewhere that what exactly the wisdom means. So this, what we find is that why you have to follow is that so that you should not miss some of the things. You have to put habit, you have to develop habit of writing these things. And because many a time we find that people write their essay, and in the essay itself, let's say the term which has been given in the essay, the key term, that has not come. In fact, that has not been written at all. Then what the person is writing? The person is simply writing one theme after another theme, one theme after another theme. That is how someone has told you link with the themes. So without knowing certain nuances and the finer aspect, the students go on linking this and that aspect. But this is how you should not do if you want to improve, follow a particular structure. But yes, remember that your thought should guide the structure. Structure should not guide thought. Then we'll come to next. This called understanding essay. How to understand essay. If you know structure, then so basically the ticks are like that. You know, should know like what, when, how, why. This is how consider it's, or you can say this. When you read any essay, that's it. Any essay, social media is inherently selfish. What means its meaning? What is the meaning of that? What exactly it wants to convey the message? This. Then when is key? When social media became selfish? Because social media started with, you know, that noble idea, noble cause. It was free for all people. It is still free. YouTube is free for people. So when it is free for people, so then how, let's say that it's in evolution when it becomes selfish. Generally we say generation first was not selfish. Generation second started showing it's selfish. So it is, let's say like Gen 2, let's say that this. So when is related to year, it is related to date, it is related to development, let's say evolutionary aspect, that you can say that. Then how he started becoming, if you take how he started becoming selfish, that we have to, let's say that see how it started becoming selfish. It has started becoming selfish, you know that. Simply, let's say when you download anything or you, let's say, click on anything, it says that allow us to access your all data in phone. This, so it is something predatory or compulsion or coercion where it is trying to become selfish. So this we can say that coercion, this why let's say that it has become, why it has become selfish. So somehow it is unregulated. It is unregulated. It is too big. This and impunity. It is doing with impunity. Let's say when it says that it allowed to give access to all the data. So then how can we regulate? Who is going to regulate? And it is being done with in exchange of something. They can argue before court, they can argue before legislature. It is discretion, but it is being done with impunity. So then let's say that if you ask questions yourself while reading any essay, so you can see that you get a broader dimension of this. It means you will end up thinking from a broader dimension. And this can give you also thesis and also idea about counter thesis. This is how the negative side also. So ask yourself while let's say that you're reading any essay, what is let's say what, when, how, why of that topic, and then it can help you in having a broader. So you will be close to, this is how UPSC demands that, close to the essay, close to the theme of the essay. Are you close? Even let's say close to the theme of essay. This and that is how we can consider about understanding essay on that side. Now there can be general trick also, general thing also, even if what, why, when, how you apply a philosophical essay. So try to know the message of that essay, try to know the essence of that, try to know exactly what it is it means, that is called interpretation of that essay, and try to necessarily think that whether we have to write as thesis part, we have to write counter thesis part, how much we have to write in the support of that, how much we have to write in let's say that against of that. So that while understanding essay, this is how these things should be taken into mind, and whether that topic relates to anyone, because philosophical essay can be basically a quotation, or it can be let's say that anyone's statement or anyone's view. So whether it is related to anyone's, let's say if it is related to a particular person, philosopher, leader, so certainly that can find a place, a due place in essay, and it will give you let's say that depth, as well as it is kind of hitting the bull's eye type of thing. And that way we can address this understanding part. Then we'll take the new and old students. So why we want to talk on new and old students? Basically, why we are trying to divide it, new and old. Let me tell that old students, those who are, and they are struggling to write essay, so they may not have tried to understand those fundamentals. So they have loopholes, loopholes in their essay. One in another class, basically we will have uh, one to more session. Through that we will explain you. Today we were trying to discuss the basics aspect of the essay and how to write better essay. But in next lecture I can bring you, show you that what people, some good copies, some bad copies, and by that way you can learn that how what I was exactly trying to say. What we find is recently we have seen, I have also seen some people essay their copies that how we write, since we every year try to see and we have hundreds of copies that we see, and then we know how people write good essay, how people write bad essay, and they are not able to write. So basically those old students who are not able to secure marks in essay, so the loopholes are the problems we can guess can be related to that they do not know, follow the fundamentals that we have discussed. First, second, basically in the name of let's say that linking and themes, let's say what they do is that we have found that they just go on writing, let's say if it is related to wisdom, happiness, characters, so they can link with Buddha. After linking with Buddha, they will link with Gandhi. After linking with Gandhi, they will link with Aristotle. And after linking with this, they will link with other. So what you are basically trying to do is, you are just writing the same thing in different way. It is not adding any depth. It is not adding any different layer. Rather, it is just saying, let's say Buddha you have said, now Gandhi you finish, then another you finish. So it becomes a sort of stereotype. And same problem you do in ethics paper. Same problem you do in the next essay that you write. So you need to understand, you have to add the variety of things, not necessarily just to link it, rather to address, let's see what we were saying this, what, when, how and why, or thesis and counter thesis. So you have to address the demand that demands a certain flow of the essay. But what you are doing is this is how I was saying, you go on this aspect. One you have written, second you are writing, third you are writing, fourth you are writing. It remains the same. And it remains one-sided, and then finally you end. So they should learn. Don't simply try to write anecdote, and since others are writing also anecdote, so you are also liking writing anecdote, and then you say that, oh, I am not securing marks, they have secured marks. Merely writing an anecdote is not going to help. Merely writing a good story in the beginning is not going to help. Beginning is, let's say that, considered a good impression, but not, let's say that, the last impression you can consider. You have to write entire essay. Merely be having introduction as preamble does not mean that the constitution body we do not need. So you have to understand that. In fact, the body part is more important than introduction. So this you have to tell yourself, and you have to find out your loopholes, where the loopholes lie, and you have to change your themes. The themes still philosophical essay it is, and people are writing still social, political, economic, geopolitical. What the hell you are doing? It's individual. Philosophy is largely related to individuals, not necessarily related to a state. Yes, it is related, but largely it is inclined towards that. When we have to talk happiness, wisdom, character, other types of topics if you find. So you have to understand this, where it is heading towards, and then you have to change your themes, how you link it. This, and that is how, let's say, you have to. Then the people also learn. Basically what we learn is, some of the things are easy to learn, and those things are considered as flow charts, other things, this, that. But these are all very, let's say that, I will say, very surface level of things which you learn. The main thing is the depth of the essay, coherence in the essay. Do you have a coherence in the essay, one after another, whether there is a link in your thought, the way you generate it? These things are difficult, and easy to improve is one, let's say, flow chart, one, let's say that graph you can say give, or you can have some this kind of story you can prepare. Yes, they are also important, but certainly they are not going to work for all. That is how we wanted to divide. Now, those who are new student, so let's say that it is not necessary that essay writing is a challenge. Some people can have good academic background. For them, writing a piece of article is not a problem. They may have had habit of writing a very coherent piece of article. So those who have habit of writing coherent piece of article, they don't have to worry much. They have to simply, let's say, learn the UPSC orientation, UPSC demand, and according to UPSC standard, they have to write. But the new students, those who have not written essay, are just written one, two, or few, they have not mains experience. For them, it is important to start learning the right things. And right things you can learn, so it's better that you put the habit of right things. And don't do the mistakes that they will find that generally they have been doing. So, right things would be related to what we have told. Try to know the meaning, try to understand the structure, try to follow the structure, try to write, if it is philosophical, so how you should write philosophical aspect. So, those things you have to let's learn, and that is how you have to let's say practice. And you should not practice, let's say, even if suppose you have a problem in practicing 1000 words, especially some those who have problem, you start writing 500 word essay, you start writing 800 word essay. This, it is not necessary that one should write 1000. Plus, you can take any easy, let's say, that topic, any quote you can take. If you have problem in philosophy, so you take any ethics question itself. In ethics statement, the philosopher statements that if you want to test anyone's character, give him power. It can be essay also, and it can be ethics question also. Once it was asked that with greater power comes greater responsibility. That was essay topic, and the same year it was also asked that this, if you want to test anyone's character, give him power. So both, let's say that essay topic and ethics question, it is interchangeable. So the question is that you can take any very short quotation in ethics paper also, and you can practice. If you do not want to practice any topic, let's say full-fledged topic, and then you can write, because that you can learn and you can get it evaluated also. So new people, those who are just, they have started, they have problem in writing a big piece of, let's say that essay, or other people in general, so they should try to learn and learn the right things so that you can have a right beginning. That is how we can talk about this. Then next is UPSC demand. What exactly UPSC demands? Read in the notification if you see. The UPSC demands this, it is analytical. Your essay should be analytical. Then it says close to theme. This, so it says that it should be close to theme. Then concise. It should be concise, the term it uses, and exact expression. This. So it has used in its notification when it gives that what exactly you have to follow. Now let's take that these all four components. It is analytical. So basically, let's see the way people write GS answers. I doubt they they will have ability to write essay in depth, because GS answer writing has become very shallow, and they have become, let's say, blind. People have started blindly imitating their, in past people used to write analytical answers in GS paper also. Since nowadays toppers copies are blindly follow, so that has built a very wrong culture. Although there have been people who have also got good marks by writing analytical answers, but somehow they may not get a top rank, they may have got good marks, so they do not become you can consider role model. But some people, those who top or get good marks, this is how their copies are available, and that is how they become role model. But you know that all people copies may not necessarily be available, and it may work 1 year, it may not necessarily work next year. Otherwise, it should have also worked with you. Those who have been writing mains, they have learned, but it is not working with them. So the question is whether you are writing analytically in depth. Then close to the theme, the topic. When it is wisdom, are you writing related to wisdom? If it is character, are you writing related to character? We know that many a time people do not touch that, the key term of the essay at the end of writing essay. So how it is, it can be closed. Topic is something else. This, so topic demand, let's say the topic is going like this, and this is how the essay topic. Either you are going like this, or you are going like this. So it is not, let's say that considers a theme, close to theme. Is it close to theme, or just let's say that it is you are just trying to write and it is going in a different direction? Then is it, let's say that compact, concise, precise, that we say that? Is it so compact? It depends. That is called here. It is test of articulation. Do you have this articulation? Power of articulation. Essay is power of articulation. Those who have power of articulation, by that they can write good essay. In fact, they will write other papers. Answers also good because of articulation. And then exact expression. Exact expression means many a time it happens. Okay, the topic which is given, whether we have understood, plus what we intend to write and what exactly we are writing. This, so many a time there is, let's say, what we intend to write and what actually we have written. That is how it is called prescriptive and descriptive. So actual, many a time you know that whatever you are thinking you are not able to write, so you regret. That is how it means. Are you giving exact expression? This again, it depends on your writing skill. So that is what you should know, that demand, you should try to see these serious things in your essay rather than seeing this fact, that fact, other things, whether you are writing. You can see there are certain technicalities, there are certain fundamentals. And then we say that good essay, let's good essay. Good essay is that you can say it is as per theme, then analytical, means what UPSC demands. Yes. And then we'll say it is appealing. Means it has appeal, let's say that. So whether it has appeal is that many a time you know that the appeal, how we can have appeal, influence. Basically you follow this fact, this is how it is considered, anecdote, this fact, anecdote, quote, this statistics, and question. One day I will explain it, means in another lecture by some examples. So let's try to take, you know that we have to write some facts, right? By writing some facts, we should create a space to write anecdote, any such story. Let's say any fact can be related to an incident has happened. Let's say an incident, let's say a real accident has happened. Some people have, let's say, died. On that we can create a story, let's say that. This is how anecdote we can create. And then we can give a particular powerful quote on that. Quote to relate it, but then you can give some, let's say, fact related to accidents, let's say how the accidents have happened in our country. So those things, facts can be very impressive, good facts, big facts. And then we can make some rhetorical questions on this, like moral responsibility. So are we, let's say, whether leader is going to take moral responsibility, or should a leader resign for taking moral responsibility? Asking question in essay itself. So appealing can be, let's say that there can be some rhetorics we can use, some questions we can use, some, let's say that anecdote we can create, and that way we can make the answer, let's say, in entire that answer appealing. And therefore, let's say it is as per the theme, UPSC demand, plus it has appeal aspect, and that is how it can be considered as good essay. So this is what we'll, let's say, today we wanted to talk today, and we wanted to keep it short also, short session. And again we will talk other aspects. Let's say one day I will try to give by some examples how it can be created, how appealing can be made. We'll show some also copies, and by that we can show it, means we can make it the session more applied to tell you how we can improve on writing essay. So hope it is going to help you. All the best.